everyone! Welcome to the thrilling conclusion of Ninja Gaiden 2. Joining me today is Skyzo. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you two?
Oh, it's been a long time. Who could it be?
Maybe an imposter.
The Jaquio!
Yeah, so I guess I had it figured in the last video.
Yes, you did.
I mean, it makes sense, like... Yeah, like, you would want to reuse a character like that.
The only thing is that, this part is really poorly explained. Like, when he says the spirit released after their battle, what he's actually referring to, I think, I don't know for sure, is the demon that we fought at the end of the last game. See, part of the whole deal was that long ago, Shinobi beat it up, but he couldn't actually kill it, so he sealed it away. Presumably the same thing happened, and the spirit got sent back to hell, and then when Ashtar opened up the gates, the demon spirit reanimated Jaquio's body. Or he did it about a year ago and Jaquio's just been sitting around doing I don't know what. I think that's what happened, but the game's really vague about it. I don't like it.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time the game does something like this. It is vague about something.
Yeah, that's true. Robert, for example.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, Jaquio and the demon are fused into the same creature now, so... that's bad news. I do love Ryu's next line, though.
Yeah, that's... I mean, the speech is badass, but... like, his actual design is pretty terrifying, I like it.
Yeah.
He's like this eldritch demon. I really enjoy that kind of visual.
Yeah, he looks the same as he did last game, but a lot older.
Yeah, that too. I can appreciate the attention to detail on that.
Alright, so let's talk about the Jaquio. So he's actually a bit trickier than he was in the last game, cause look at that. He's all over the place. I can barely hit the guy, even with my ninja friends. Now, he only does 1 damage upon collision and the fireballs, but the cutscenes don't restore your health like they did in last game, so at best you're gonna have a healing potion walking into this, and maybe be at like 7 HP. And there are 2 more guys to fight after this, so we can't afford to take much damage. So the big secret is that I can get way up in there. Do you see how far into his body I am?
I do.
And what that means in practical terms is that as long as I'm against the wall, he can't hurt me. The other piece of the puzzle is that he moves the exact same way each and every time. I mean, he switches it up, but the start is always the same. So if I memorize how he moves, I can figure this out. 1, I run to the right side and slash a few times, run a bit forward there, slash more, and then from here on out, all I have to do is climb to the very top before he reaches me, jump down, and have my ninja friend take off 2 ticks of health. He'd probably change things up eventually, but by the time he does, I'll have already killed him. Like that. That make any sense?
Yeah, that's I mean, you just turned a very chaotic fight into a more manageable one.
Exactly, and that's the secret to getting through that guy without any damage. So, hope that helps. Wow, red blood.
That's not something you often see in these games.
Indeed. So wait. Robert had purple blood, and the Eldritch Abomination had red blood.
Well, let's chalk that up to lighting differences.
Alright, I can do that. Whew. Man, Jaquio sure had a lot of blood, huh?
Well, he's a demon, so...
That's true. Now, this next part can be confusing, but I have a theory about this as well.
Let's see.
So, they both get shocked, but Irene is the only one that collapses. I think that's because she's already been stabbed by Ashtar in Act 5, so the demon swords sort of got a lease on her soul, you know what I mean?
A lease? I don't understand.
It means it's got a foothold in her. Also, the blood receded.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, what I mean is that it's sort of got a lock on her soul already, because it's stabbed into her and sucked up a bit of her life force.
Right, so you're saying that she's essentially more fragile because of that?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Whereas Ryu was able to stand on his own 2 feet. Also, Jaquio has just turned into a screensaver. How do we defeat this?
You know, this reminds me like Earthbound, the final boss of that game.
Alright, let's beat him up.
Yeah, this is very reminiscent of Gaiga's. Wow, that was really fast.
Okay, let's actually show that fight off. So, the big thing is that there are all these drops coming from the ceiling and a boulder to watch out for as well. It's all about... you just look at all the chaos and you freeze up. But the secret is 1, if I stand far enough left, he can't hurt me. And 2, if you look at the way the drops fall, they sort of go in a U shape, like I'm demonstrating right here. So you're not looking at 9 different drops. You're looking at 3 different U shapes. That's how I'm visualizing this when I figure out when to rush in and hit him. So what I want is the leftmost U that starts with the leftmost drop. The minute that drops, I rush in and tag him, then rush right out. I might miss because the hitbox is a little tricky, but the point is that as long as I've got that, and I'm keeping an eye on when he's gonna shoot the boulder, he can't hit me here either. And when you get comfortable enough with this, you can tag him with Ryu, and then you can tag him with a ninja friend. And that's how you get through this without any damage, even if you don't have an invincible fire wheel, because the fire wheel trivializes the fight, but you can still make it through without any damage, even without that.
Right.
There we go. The only tricky part is getting a sense for when he shoots the boulder from his mouth, because that's the only one that's not perfectly synced up with the rest of the drops.
Yeah, well, this seems like a fight that if you don't know what's going on, then you're gonna have a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I had to pause buffer the entire thing my first time.
Yeah, because you have so many projectiles, you have to dodge everything.
Yeah. And if you have patience problems like I do, you can just brute force him like I do here. The only thing you have to look out for is the boulder. Because the boulder does 2 ticks of damage, whereas the drops only do 1. Because that did 1 damage, that boulder did 2. So, when you're crouching down in that perfect position, You want him to be far enough right that the boulder flies over his head. Otherwise, you're gonna take a lot more damage. And that's that form.
I don't know about that, like, even though the boulder does more damage, I feel that it's just not enough. Like, I feel that by... Yeah, I feel like you can just not worry about the boulder, but maybe I'm wrong on that. Like, at least from what I watched, it doesn't seem like that.
I mean, the thing is that you don't get your health restored at all, so it's an endurance match.
Oh, you mean between cutscenes, right?
Yeah. The cutscenes don't restore your HP, so that's really where the real problem is.
Right, yeah, that changes things because you have to fight all of them, and if you lose, then you come back to the first one.
Well, all of the forms stay dead, but I'd rather not have to go through the stage again.
Okay.
So yeah, the secret with this guy is that if you just duck in that corner, he can't hit you with anything. So that gives you ample time to figure out when to rush in. And from here, the projectiles, they're not all random like they were in the last game. They're based on your position, so if you're left, they go left. If you go right, they go right. So once you're in a good groove, you can just keep on dodging like this.
Yeah, the pattern makes things a lot easier because you can just dodge pretty much effortlessly.
Yeah. The only thing is that, like, when he just gets done exploding, sometimes it seems like the very first wave of projectiles is, like, it scatters all over the place for that first wave, so you might get hit once, but eventually, one way or another, he will settle into a pattern. And if you've got an invincible fire wheel, that makes things even easier, because you can just rush on in like this, get your ninja friends all settled, and then there you go. Easy life.
It's pretty simple.
So, and then if you're doing speed runs and you have Art of the Fire Wheel, you can just tear right through these guys, one after another.
That's me insane how much damage that does.
Yeah. And the last guy...
I like that he has like a little chamber for his flames. That's a neat attention to detail.
Indeed. Well, there he goes. To be perfectly honest with you, I think the demon was better off unfused. What do you think?
Yeah, that was... I mean, this is the last boss though, so like... I can understand why they would turn the difficulty because you've been through so much, but... Yeah, the other forms of him were more difficult, I would say. Like his basic form, I should say.
Yeah, his basic form I actually struggled with a lot, to the point where, like, I had a version of the fight, but I wasn't happy with how much damage I took, so I re-recorded that part completely. That was before I figured out that you could dodge most of his attacks just by climbing up the right wall to the top, and then dodge all the fireballs by jumping down. Before I figured that out, I just could not figure out how to beat him in a way that would be friendly for beginners.
Yeah, and also, like, because you have to fight all of his final forms, quote-unquote, sequentially. Yeah, so, like, I could see why they would make it easier. It makes sense.
Yeah. The good thing is that each of the forms stay dead once you kill them. So if you end up having to climb all the way back to the top, you can get those bonus ninja scrolls, and you also have less fights to do in a row, and more invincible fire wheel ammo too, or Art of the Fire Wheel if you want to do things that way. I find that harder.
Right, that makes sense.
And now for the moving conclusion.
Oh, we actually get to see his face. That's interesting.
Yep. Oh. You see that dragon sword?
I do.
And this is actually an important plot point, because that dragon sword just disappeared completely. And the reason it's going to disappear is because it's gonna do this.
Oh, so it revived her?
Yep, put her soul right back in her body.
Oh, that's what happened. Her soul was snatched out of her.
That's how I figured it. Life force, soul, same thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, the dragon sword is gone now. And yet Ryu has it in Ninja Gaiden 3, so that's sorta your hint that Ninja Gaiden 3 took place before 2.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, it wouldn't make much sense to have another game in this universe, I would imagine.
They felt like they already kinda ended things with a bang with number 2, so instead of trying to top that, they decided they wanted to do prequels and interquels.
Yeah, that's smart of them.
So, first of all, what do you think about it? I want you to get your say first.
Well, I think this game is incredible. I think it's very impressive. It's just so ambitious, and it does... Like, I can't think of any, like, complaints or anything like that. It's ahead of its time, I would say.
I still kind of consider it my least favorite of the trilogy. First of all, I want to preface that by saying that, like, saying this is my least favorite is like saying strawberry is my least favorite form of ice cream. I mean, it's still ice cream. I'll take it any day of the week. It's just, there's a lot of little annoyances that I have with the game. We've got the stage hazards. Acts 4 and 5 had good hazards, but the others sort of just halted your progress. There's the color palette issues, where the enemies blend in with the background. And the difficulty curve is very inconsistent. Like, the first game was hard, but it was a steady increase. This one kind of jumps around a bit. Acts 1 and 2 are really easy. Act 3 is a huge step up, and it stays kind of high until Act 6, where it drops like a rock. And then Act 7 is prime Ninja Gaiden. And even the story, it's well told, but let's say the first game. Ryu's father went missing. While searching for him, Ryu walked into a bar and was tased by a mysterious woman and given a mysterious artifact. He then goes to find Walter Smith, learns backstory, Walter dies, and then it turns out the CIA is involved with this. Ryu gets blackmailed, finds the Jaquio. He figures out that his dad is alive, but then the dad dies in the process, and Irene turns on her employers. That's all pretty interesting, right? But like, you get to Ninja Gaiden 2's story, and it's well told, but it can basically be summed up in a paragraph. Like, Jaquio had a boss named Ashtar who wants to open up the gates of hell. Ashtar kidnaps Ryu's girlfriend, and Ryu kills Ashtar in retaliation. The Jaquio comes back to life and also kidnaps the girlfriend, and Ryu also kills him. Irene dies in the process, but she gets brought back to life by the sword. Also, some weird guy called Robert pops in now and again and then dies in the final act. That's the story of Ninja Gaiden 2 in a nutshell. Like, normally you don't really care that much about plot in Nintendo games, but this one tries hard enough that I feel the want to critique it. But like I said, it's ice cream, pure and simple. It's just my least favorite flavor of ice cream, you know what I mean?
I feel that certain things like the unsteady difficulty curve and like some other things like that, like it feels to me like it's an intermediate between like developers experimenting and having them settle on something.
Exactly. So, anyways, that would be the end of Ninja Gaiden 2. Join me next time to where we play the final game in the series, and my personal favorite, actually, Ninja Gaiden 3, The Ancient Ship of Doom. This is Fiona Day Quester, signing out. Have a nice day, and God bless you all.
Okay, I'll see you later, YouTube.
Bye!